So, your three terms that you're looking at this week are performance, ritual, and storytelling. At their heart, all three of them have this in common. They are forms of play. Okay, got that? So that this isn't something that we absolutely positively have to do to physically survive, right? It's not eating. It is not even procreation, although we certainly, and I'm not being crass here, this is according to the literature, we play at that. We set up narratives. We have goals, etc. Never mind all the storytelling that we do through the birthing process, etc. All right, so performance, ritual, and storytelling. How are these forms of play? So first, right, none of them are basic survival functions. What they do is engage our higher order thinking, our mind. They are forms of creation, right, and trying out ideas. A performance. If I stand up, raise my hands, point at you, that is a performance, right? Think of your favorite movie, right? Let's go with the love movie. And the lovers approach each other and suddenly the camera starts to go into slow motion. We know this trick. It's simply a convention, but it works almost every time. Why? We have taken this form of what if, this play, right? We are using a storytelling convention. We are putting a special ordering on time here, right? Which is actually something that ritual does. But we are performing love. We are trying to show visually what it feels like in that moment where the world slows down and you see your soulmate eye to eye and you approach her, you approach him, and it's as if time itself stops and expands, right? That's something that it took me several words to talk about, and I can show it with one performance convention. All right, so a convention is basically a shorthand or a language, something that we use in performance that everybody recognizes, and you don't have to be told to recognize it, you just do, right? Slow motion is one of those. Now we've taken that a step further after the Matrix, and we use bullet time. This shows us the importance of a singular action that would be quick if we saw it on its own. Right? And just in real time, we might miss it, right? The idea of performance is to take these very moments and expand them and explore them, all right? So performance is something that we recognize. When I point at you, my band calls this the 5-finger point. It means I'm really pointing at you. You've probably messed up in some way. Because I'm pointing, we understand that this implies you. There's an implication. There's almost a violence to it, right? Because this looks very much like an extension of self, like a sword or a weapon. So performance works with symbols. Ritual works with symbols. All right. When you hear the word ritual, hopefully you're not thinking like black masses and, satanic ritual or something like that. Rituals come in all sorts. There's the everyday. I'm going to brush my teeth. There's a special order that I do that in. That's functional. What we're really talking about here with play are the deeper rituals. Rituals like weddings, coming of age rituals, graduations, quinceañeras, more primitive coming of age rituals where you actually go out into the woods and survive for a night, right? There are sacred and secular rituals. A sacred ritual is something like communion, the taking of the Eucharist, a baptism, a bar mitzvah, some sort of religiously affiliated or some sort of ritual that is tied to the sacred. Some people would argue that, for instance, secular, right, non-religious, non-spiritual, rituals such as going to a Dallas Cowboys football game, right? A professional sporting event. It is ritual in pattern. But some of us might consider it sacred. Look who's back. What are you doing?
Good.
Good. What are you doing? The answer is good?
Good.
Yeah, I'm telling these guys about ritual right now. You have a ritual, don't you? In the evening time? Do you have a special order of
Yes.
things that you do before you go to bed? And you do that every night, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
brush my teeth and read stories.
Uh-huh.
And brush my hair.
Uh-huh.
And put my pajamas on.
Uh-huh.
And go potty and turn off the light and go to sleep.
Okay, does that help you to go to sleep after you've done all those things?
Yes.
Does it make you feel secure?
Yes.
That's what ritual does for us, right?
And saying and something for the day.
Oh yeah, and the same thing for the day. Do you have a daytime ritual?
Yes. Put on clothes, brush hair. Go to the party when I need to.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And what else?
And put shoes on. Like the door every door.
That's right. So it's functional. Like, it matters that you have shoes on, right?
Yes.
It matters that you brush your teeth and potty, right?
Yes.
But sometimes it takes you 2 minutes to brush your teeth, and sometimes it takes like 5, right?
Yes.
So there's a space in there where anything can happen, right? You have to put on shoes, but you might choose to put on any shoes. You might say, I want to go barefoot, right?
Yes.
This is the ritual process. It gives us security by recovering or restoring behaviors that we're used to. Rituals operate on in a space, right? Your ritual space is the house. The ritual space for a Cowboys game is the stadium. The ritual space for a wedding is often a church or synagogue. Or babap, right? Concerts have venues, etc., etc. So, rituals have a special ordering of time. They take place in a sacred space set aside for that ritual. They always involve some sort of symbolic performance, right? You're going in the water, literally you're going in the water. Symbolically, you are cleansing your sin and your soul is reborn, right? And I'm not saying that symbolic means it's not real. If anything, symbolism, metaphor makes things more real, all right? Beyond that, ritual has a prescribed order, just like Adriana told you about her morning routine and her nighttime routine. But within that, okay, it's order in which anything can happen. The sequence of a wedding is absolutely set out, right? You even rehearsed it, but somebody might choose not to get married. Hopefully that's not the case. But if it is, this means that the ritual space is a space of liminality. Liminality means that you are in betwixt and in between states, right? A limen is a door. So imagine standing smack in the doorway. That's ritual, right? We absolutely know what's going to happen. We absolutely know that doorway's there. But when you walk through it, you might be changed forever. Or you might come out going, right? So there are 3 phases. The preliminal, I'm getting ready for the ritual, the liminal, and then the postliminal, right? Where I go and I talk about, oh man, that was such a good sermon today. Or did you hear that Torah reading? Or Des caught it, right? So that's ritual. It is a very, very structured environment in which the possibilities are wide open, right? And it separates you from mundane reality. Again, separate space, special ordering of time, prescribed order of events, okay, symbolic action, symbolic implements, right, or tools that have a certain symbolic meaning, and usually there are sort of symbolic vestments that you wear. Your everyday routine, it's putting on your clothes. However, if you're going to a Cowboys game, you put on the jersey. If you're going to church, you put on your Sunday go-to-meetings. When I go to Shabbat, I wear white. All right, special vestments for these things. Okay. The third thing we want to look at is very general. It's storytelling. Also a space of play. All right. So in a ritual, right, you go and you may take it very seriously, but you are playing according to a sequence, like a story. So story, you like stories, don't you?
Yes.
What's your favorite story?
Fish out of water.
A fish out of water. Yeah, and what happens in a fish out of water?
He doesn't get any water.
The fish keeps getting too big for the water, right?
Yes.
So they have to keep moving him and moving him and moving him and moving him. What's the moral of the story? The adult told the guy not to feed the fish too much, and he fed the fish too much, all right? So it is physically illustrating, right, even in an absurd way, the abstract idea of listen to your elders. But through story, we get to see that principle in action, and that's what storytelling does. Above that, we organize our experience in story. For instance, I say, man, we came to the park because Adriana was getting a little bit restless and wanted to get out, right? Then I got the idea that this would be a perfect time to talk about play, like performance, ritual, and storytelling. So I got out my phone. Then Adriana came over here and joined me. And now I think it's probably time to end the lecture for this week and go make up some stories with my little girl. Beginning, middle, end, a sequence of events. We organize our experience with story. And when you get into the lesson, you're going to see even more how and why we use storytelling to actually change and create our world. All right, so enjoy this one. This is one of my favorites. I'm absolutely going to be interacting on the boards this week and really interacting with you as much as I can, because performance, ritual, storytelling, this is my major field. It was what my dissertation was about. So let's see what you think about these very important building blocks of the human experience. All right,